how to attend lab practicals. We had only IM only, no, Vishal. So wait for a few more days. You will get plenty of practicals on EC2. Lots of practicals. You can come here and attend. You can do the labs here offline, or maximum you guys will be completing by yourself. Just in case if you have any questions, you can attend that online. Zoom is there, like, the mentors will be there. They'll help you out if you have any kind of questions and all. Okay, no problem. All right, so we discussed about what key pairs and placement groups. Okay, let's have a quick shootout round. So we are completing only 2 topics per day. Okay. So what is a key pair? Key pair, key pair. I heard like that. Okay. Key pair is used to retrieve the password of the EC2 instance. And then can we also call that, okay, instead of saying all these things, just say key pair is a combination of public key and private key. Good. And then what is the use of key? It is used to retrieve the password of the EC2 instance. Okay. And when you're launching the EC2 instance, it's important to attach a key pair to the EC2 instance. Will you launch the EC2 instance without key pair? No. So key pair has to be attached. So how many key pairs you can attach per machine? Only one. So one key pair can be attached to multiple machines? Yes. And what is the extension of key pair? .pem. The PEM is public key or private key? Private key. So is it recommended to keep these PEM files very safe? Yes. What is the default username for Windows? Administrator. For Linux? EC2 - user. Okay. So what is the protocol that used to connect to the Windows machine? RDP. Port number 3389. And for Linux, SSH. Port number 22. Okay. And then if you want to have a super high performance between the EC2 instances, so which feature do you recommend? Placement groups. What is that? Placement groups. So what is a cluster? Collection of EC2 instances, group of EC2 instances. Group of EC2 instances. So how many different types of placement groups are there? 3 types. What are those? Cluster, spread, and partition. Super. So if you want the EC2 instance to be in the same rack and same availability zone, cluster. Do we have a super high performance there? Yes. But how about high availability? No, low high. So you cannot say no. Low high availability. And which the EC2 instance are spread across multiple availability zones. Which placement group? Spread placement group. How many EC2 instances you can launch per 7? And then how many partitions you can create? 7 partitions. And in each partition, can you have many number of EC2 instances? So in the placement group, is it recommended to have a same type instance type or different? Same. By the way, which is the instance type we should be using in our course? T2 micro. Good. Okay. So now let's jump on today's topic. Super as usual. Huh? Nice. Okay. Guys, today, anyways, I can see you here, but online people, I want you to sit properly. Don't lie on the bed, on your stomach, putting your hands under chin. Sit, get up, sit properly. You only. Uh, get up, get up. Still you are lying. Okay. Everyone, right? Yeah, different types of relaxing mode. Huh? I know. See, Ali, sit properly. Okay, so why I'm saying all this is today is really very important topic, and you have to concentrate because this is related to security. So till till now we have been dealing with the EC2 instances and all. So how to secure the EC2 instance, which is very important, we'll see today. So today's topic is security groups. Security group. Security groups. So remember in our starting days, we have learned the part of basics. I told you, I gave an example. If you want to go and meet your friend who is in some apartment, who is the first guy who will stop you? Security guy, correct? So security guy will stop you and ask a number of questions. Where are you coming from? Who are you and all? So here in our infrastructure, there is one guy who will be stopping our request. Who is that guy? Firewall. What is that? Firewall. Very good. What is firewall? Which stops unauthorized access to the network. So first of all, I write that. So what is firewall? Firewall, which stops unauthorized access to the network. Good. So guys, this firewall in EC2, we call it as security group. What is that? This firewall, we call it as a security group. What we should call? Security group. So you need to habituate with the word security group. What is that? Security group. So here firewall is nothing but security group. So in your console also, sometimes you see firewall and sometimes you see security group. And I would recommend to always call this as security group only. And what does the firewall do? It will allow or it will deny. Remember in starting days, it will allow or it will deny. And also you remember, I told in firewall we'll create rules. Yes or no? In firewall, we create rules. I'll tell to the security guy saying that if Sashi is coming, allow him. Sharif? Illa. If Sharif is coming, don't allow him. So that is a rule that I'm putting it to the security guy, right? The similar way, here also we create rules. Where we create rules? In security groups also we create rules. In security group also what we create? Rules. What rules? Security group rules. So now, what we do, we will allow or we'll deny. Yes or no? Based on our requirement, we allow and then we deny. So now, security group is, what is security group? Security groups, can we say that security group stops unauthorized access to the EC2 instance? Yes or no? Can I say this now? Security group, you just imagine EC2 is like Bahubali. Security group is like Kattappa. Simple. Okay. So if you want to touch EC2 instance, you need to touch security group. You need to touch, if you want to touch Bahubali, you need to touch Katappa. But if Katappa is doing some manipulations, who will get affected? Bahubali will get affected. Similar way here also, if security group is getting compromised, EC2 instance is in danger position. Now understood? So EC2 instance is secured by security group. EC2 instance is secured by security group. So can I say security group is used to secure the EC2 instance? Yes. Security group is used to secure the EC2 instance. Let's go slowly, aram se. Okay. So can I say security group acts like a firewall to the EC2 instance? Security group acts like a firewall to the EC2 instance. Okay, first I'll try to put some hypnotism diagram for you. Do you remember in starting we wrote this? On the outer layer is what? Outer layer is AWS, right? So we have I need a little bit bigger. AWS, and then we have and then so let me write. So that outer layer is AWS. Inside we have what now? Region. Inside the region, what we have? VPC. And then inside this we have new topics will come. NaCl. What is that? Don't worry. NaCl meaning not sodium chloride. Chemistry people, not NaCl. So I'll talk about that soon. Okay. We have NaCl. Then we have security group. Then we have EC2 instance. So guys, in order to talk to EC2 instance, I need to go through all these things. Yes or no? Yes. So in order to talk to the EC2 instance, I need to go through AWS, through region, through VPC, through NaCl, through security group. Then only I will go and talk to EC2 instance. Okay. Now, so let me go ahead and let's say this is one EC2 instance. So this is the EC2 instance. Imagine I have some application inside it. EC2 instance is secured by EC2 instance is secured by security group. What is that? EC2 instance is secured by security group. Now, security group has two types of rules. How many rules are there? Two types of rules. One is called inbound rule and another one we call it as outbound rule. What are those two rules? Inbound rule, outbound rule. What is inbound rule? Inbound meaning the traffic which is coming inside towards. Outbound meaning which is going outside. The traffic which is coming to the security group is called inbound. The traffic which is going from the EC2 instance is called outbound rule. So now tell me. First I'll write security groups have two types of rules. Security group has two types of rules. So I call it as inbound rule and then outbound rule. So what is in outbound rule? Inbound rule, which allows the traffic towards EC2 instance. And outbound rules, which allows the traffic outside EC2 instance. Did you all understand what is inbound rule and outbound rule? Okay. So now I have the very important certification question. See here. I have the EC2 instance and I have created a security group and then I've attached to the EC2 instance. Chitti, by default, do we have any inbound rules? By default, do I have any inbound rules? Answer is no. By default, do we have any inbound rules? No. Okay, now what is inbound rule? Inbound rule meaning, let's say for example here, guys, EC2, if you have EC2, throughout the EC2, the wall is plastered completely. Is there anything that you can go inside? No. So by default, inbound rules are allow or deny. By default, inbound rules are allow or deny. Certification question. By default, inbound rules are deny. That meaning whenever you go for a security group, freshly, you don't have any inbound rules. You don't have any inbound rules. Okay, now I have this EC2 instance and I have the security group. Is there any protocol allowed inside? No, it is deny. Now, I want to do, let's say this is a Windows EC2 instance, guys. This is Windows EC2 instance. So I need to add an inbound rule. Now let's say I want to log into this EC2 instance. Which EC2 instance is this? Windows EC2 instance. So what is the protocol that I need to allow in the security group? RDP. Correct? RDP. So by default, do we have any inbound rules? No. Everything is plastered. Everything is blocked. Whichever protocol is required, that only you allow inside it. Same, no? In Bahubali Kingdom also, can anyone go inside by default? By default, everything is deny. Whoever has the permission, they only can go inside. Similar way here, by default, inbound rules are deny. Now tell me, some person went into Bahubali Kingdom. So he will have a screening, checks everything. Yes. That is called inbound rule. That we are doing. So in the security group, nothing is allowed. So whichever we want to allow, we'll allow. Here, which is the protocol that I need to allow in this case? If I want to RDP. Super. You allow RDP. On which port number? 3389. Simple. Now RDP went inside. Now person went inside the Bahubali Kingdom. Inbound rules are checked. While he is going out, will he get checked? No, no. So outbound rules are allowed or deny? Simple. Certification question. So inbound rules are deny, outbound rules are allowed. That is by default. By default, inbound rules are deny, outbound rules are allowed. Certification question. I'm writing it here. So by default, inbound rules are deny and outbound rules are allowed. Super certification question. Okay, so I have created an inbound rule here. That is good for the EC2 instance. Okay. Very good, Apurva. Yes. If Bahubali got killed, because of whom? Katappa only, no? Sivagamina. Katappa only, right? So that meaning, if the Katappa got compromised, anything can be happen to the Bahubali. Same thing. If the security group is getting compromised, EC2 instance will be hacked. Simple as that. Okay. Now, if I want to, that is Windows EC2 instance, I want to log into the Windows EC2 instance. That is the reason why I need to add a rule called inbound rule called RTP protocol. So now I want to access my application. In order to access the in the EC2 instance, I have some application, no? So in order to access my application, what is the protocol that I need to allow? What is that? And sir, what is that SSH? To, huh? To access the application. Okay. Remember, three very important protocols. Number one is RDP. RDP is used to connect to the Windows EC2 instance. Number two is SSH, which is used to connect to the Linux machines. And if you have any applications inside it, and if you want to access that application, which protocol will be used? HTTP. What is that? HTTP. And we have HTTPS also. Which one is secure, Nana? HTTPS is secure. So for HTTPS, we need to have security certificates and all. We'll talk later, but we'll talk only HTTP. HTTP works on what port number? 80. Understood? Now I have the application inside the EC2 instance. I want to access it. So in security group, what is the protocol that I need to allow? HTTP. You got it, ma? So allow HTTP. HTTP on which port number? 80. So guys, in security group, we always need to allow protocols. I'll write it here so that you will never forget. RDP is used for what? RDP is used to log into the Windows EC2 instance. Okay. And then we have SSH into the Linux EC2 instance. And then we have HTTP is used to access application on application is used to access application on EC2 on port 80. HTTPS, Nana, what is HTTPS? Secure, correct? HTTPS is used to access application on EC2 instance on port. What's the port number? 443 securely. Now you clearly understood. What is this port number here? SSH 22. Here it is 3389. Now got clear? So by default, inbound rules are deny. Outbound rules are allowed. Super. So I'll do a representation also here. Let's say this is the EC2 instance. 404. What is 404? Page not found. Error has thousands of meaning. So 404 meaning page not found. So we have learned on that also, correct? So if you have a security, if you have EC2 instance is secured by security group. And in security group, we have how many types of rules are there? 2 types of rules. What is inbound rule and another one is outbound rule. So by default, inbound rules are all deny. So by default, it is deny, deny, deny. And outbound rules are allow. Allow. So if at all you required, you need to allow the protocol in inbound rule, correct? Super. So for example, SSH. Is it clear, ma? The basic idea on the security groups now? Super. So now I'll ask one certification question. Think and answer. Is it possible to deny protocols in security group? Answer is yes or no. Is it possible to deny protocols in security group? Okay, so answer is no. By default, everything is deny, no? There isn't anything to deny specifically. No, everything is deny. So here in inbound rules, what do? We only allow. We only allow. Is it possible to deny? In security groups, what do? In inbound rules, we only allow. It is not possible to deny. Okay, now here in this case, RDP is allowed, in HTTP is allowed. Rest are all simple. Rest are all deny. Rest are all deny. It is not possible to deny, guys. So you can only allow it. That is certification question. I'll write. Is it possible to deny protocol in security group? Answer is no. Because by default, inbound rules are deny. Getting it? So in security group, we can only allow protocols. Agree? In security group, we can only allow protocols, not deny. Okay. So do we need to worry about inbound rule? No. Inbound rules, anyways, it is always allowed. So we in security group, we always deal with inbound rules or in outbound rules are inbound rules only. In security group, we always deal with the inbound rules because inbound rules by default are denied. That is the reason why if you want to allow something, you add the rule. Outbound rules, everything is allowed. So we know it is. So guys, it is same like this. When you're going inside the shopping mall, while entering, he'll do the massage for you. I mean, security check. He'll do the security check. Tick, 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 tick. While going out, he will do the security check. No. Simple as that. No. By default, by outgoing is allowed. Incoming is denied. Okay. So do you all agree every EC2 instance should have at least one security group attached? Without that, it is danger. Correct? But by the way, you cannot even do that. So here, every EC2 instance should have at least one security group attached. Coming to that point, yes. Guys, can you create multiple security groups? Huh? Yes, you can create multiple security groups. For one, okay. Now, there is a good question. Wabo, you'd make it simple example to explain all our deny. I use Bahubali example. I use shopping mall example. What did you understand, Mister? Movie theater also. While going by inbound, everything is denied. No, can you go directly without ticket? No, ticket is a rule, inbound rule. So while going out for in the interval, will you ask for the ticket? No, outbound rules are allowed. Simple. Okay, so there is one more question, sir. Can't we deny inbound rules which we have allowed? Very good question. Now, on the EC2 instance, we have two rules, inbound rules. What is RDP and HTTP? So if I want to remove, if I want to deny, what I need to do? Remove it off. Delete the rule. If you delete that HTTP rule or if you delete the RDP rule, that will get denied automatically. There is no option to deny. What you need to do? You need to delete it. Delete the rule if you want to deny. I'll write. Delete the rule if you want to deny the protocol. Morally went somewhere. So guys, we have a default VPC. Similarly, here also in EC2, we have something called default security group. What is that? Default security group. So remember, AWS EC2 has a default security group. So I'll write. So EC2 has a default security group. Default security group. EC2 has a default security group. Until you are familiar with the security groups, should we use only default security group? Answer is yes, right? So guys, but I'm telling you this also, additional information. Let me give you an example, a real-time example. So I told you we should be using only default security group in our course. What is that? We should be using only which security group we should be using? Default security group. Again, when we go to a little bit advanced topic, we will create security groups, no issues. But at the end of the course, but until you guys are familiar with, we should be using which security group? Default security group. Why? I'll tell you the reason. Not billing. So let's say we have these EC2 instances here. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all real-time things. See, let's say I have 4 EC2 instances. Chitti, every EC2 instance is secured by security group. So that meaning you have 4 EC2 instances. How many security groups will you create in this case? You will create 4, huh? Okay. I'll go with it. So 1, 2, 3. You have created how many security groups? 4 security groups. You have 4. You have 4 EC2 instances. That's why you created 4 security groups. If you have 100 EC2 instances, you will create 100 security groups. No, na. Okay, let's say, sir, now we have only 4 EC2 instances. Let's talk about only 4 EC2 instances. If you have 4 EC2 instances, is it recommended to create 4 security groups? Answer is no. Reason is now I want to log into the second EC2 instance on protocol. This is Linux machine. So Linux machine, what is the protocol that we use? SSH. I need to log into the second EC2 instance. So I told log into the second EC2 instance. So if you want to log into the EC2 instance, what is the first thing that you should do? You need to allow the protocol in security group. Yes or no? That is the first thing that you should be doing it. That is the first thing you should be doing it. So remember in lifetime, guys, for the lifetime, when you're not able to connect to the EC2 instance, if you are not able to connect to the EC2 instance, what is the first thing that you should check? Security group, whether the port is allowed or not. Now you have Linux EC2 instance. So people started complaining, I'm not able to log into the Linux machine. It's not connecting. What is the first thing that you go and check? Security group. In security, what do you check? Inbound rule SSH is allowed or not. This is the wording that you should use. Inbound rule SSH is allowed or not. If SSH is not allowed, you're not able to connect. Simple as it. Right? So here also, I want to log into the second EC2 instance on SSH. Now tell me, to which security group I need to allow that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Which security group? Second one. Correct? So what people will be doing is, they will be allowing the security, they will be allowing the protocol in the first security group, or they will be allowing the protocol in the third one. They'll get confused. For that reason, I'm not allowing you to create multiple security groups at the moment in our course. Instead of that, what is the security group that I should be using it? Default security group. For all the EC2 instances, I'll be using default security group. Until you guys are familiar with, we'll go with the default security group only. Because if you create multiple security groups, you will get confused to which security group I need to add the protocols. To which security group I need to add the rules, you will get confused. For that reason, I'll be going with the default security group. In real time, how does it look like? Let me give a real-time example. What is this? Load balancer. So we have EC2 instance, EC2 instance, EC2 instance. And in the backend, you have database. Guys, this is how we are designing. See, this is the real time that we are designing it. Load balance. You tell me the answers here. Interesting architecting. This will be connecting to this, huh? ELB, EC2, EC2, huh? EC2. So we have application, application, application. This is DB, DB, DIB. When I was in Romania, the language is complete. They used to call DIB. For DB, they call DIB in Romania. Okay, anyways. So here, now we have this architecture. Tell me, Chitti, will you go with only one default security group for all these things? Answer is yes or no. Boy. Will you go for only one security group for all these components? Answer is no. In real time, guys, how can you have load balancer, you have app servers, you have DB servers. For all your infrastructure, you will deal with only one security group. No. So instead of that, what do we do is, can we create a security group for the load balancer separately? Yes. So for the load balancer, now tell me, for the load balancer should listen on what protocol? Excellent. What is that? HTTP. So I have something called listeners. Yes or no? So listeners, what is the protocol that I should use? Either you go for HTTP or HTTPS, because that is load balancer. You are accessing your application through the load balancer. So what is the protocol that you should use? HTTP or HTTPS? Okay, good. So now, can I call this as ELBSG name? Load balancer security group. Okay. So people will be connecting to your load balancer on HTTP and HTTPS. For load balancer security group, is it required to allow SSH? Is it required to allow SSH? No. Is it required to allow RDP? Babu, that is load balancer. Load balancer meaning only HTTP. So will you go with SSH and RDP? No. So if you are using only one security group, for all one security group, you put all port numbers inside it. Is it good? No. See how I'm segregating it. And now for the app servers, I'll create a separate security group. What is the group I call? App SG. And this one? DBSG. I call it, okay. DBSG. Now, question for you. So in App SG, I also allow only HTTP. Is there any other protocol required? Okay, now I have the EC2 instance here. What is the protocols that I need to allow there in App SG? One is HTTP, another one RDP. If it is Windows, RDP. If it is Linux, SSH. Correct? No. For the load balancer security is required for RDP and SSH? Not required. For the second app security group, I'll go with RDP, SSH, HTTP. Based on my requirement, I'll secure it my each and every components. Okay. So now we have load balancer security group. Very good. We have HTTP and HTTPS. But from where should I get access? From which source? From where you should be able to access your load balancer? From where? Everyone should be able to access your load balancer? Yes or no? Everyone should be able to access your load balancer. Otherwise, how do you access your application? Everyone should be able to access your load balancer. Your website only, no application meaning. Okay. So here we need to know something called source. What is that, Chitti? Source. From which source that you want to access your load balancer. So we have three types of sources. What? Three types. One is custom, anywhere, and myIP. What are those three sources we have? Custom, anywhere, myIP. Certification question. What is that again? Custom, anywhere, myIP. One more time. custom anywhere my IP. So now your load balancer want to be accessed by throughout the world in internet. Which source do you use? Excellent. Anywhere you use. And your load balancer want to access only from your laptop. My IP. And your load balancer should be accessed only through certain network. Bas, khatam. Got it? Got it? Different types of sources here. Now, this load balancer, this source is for load balancer, source is anywhere. Correct, ma? Now here, hold on. So the source here is we use custom, right? And now tell me the for app SG, the traffic should come from where? For app SG, the traffic should come from where? Load balancer, right? Is it recommended, Chitty? Is it recommended directly your clients to connect to your app servers? No, the traffic should come only from which security group? Load balancer. The source is here, ELBSG. You're getting it. You're breaking it completely. So now the clients will directly connect to your app SG? No, because in app SG you're giving the source only from ELBSG. So the traffic will be allowed only from ELBSG. If anyone others are connecting, it will break. You are not allowed. See how I'm restricting it. Now you tell me here. For this source is app SG. For the database, source is app SG. Now you understand? For someone asks, sir, what is the protocol that we use in the DBSG? If we, let's say, for example, if you're using MS SQL Server database, so that will work on 1433, I think. 1433, is that right? Developers. If you are going for Postgres, 5432 or 5436 something, 5432 something is there. So based on your database, each and every database will have their own protocols. Yeah, Oracle is 1521. Now you understand the real time. How does it work? The right side one. But in our course, we'll be doing right side or left side? Left side we go. But when you get little bit experience, you go for the right side. No issues. But here we go with the only default security group. So in the right side, how many security groups that you create? 3 security groups, correct? One is for load balancer, one is for application, another one is for DBSG. But here we just go and launch an EC2 instance, right? In our course, what we create, we go with the default SG. Do you all understood, ma? Any questions still here? I'll give the time to digest. Is it clear, everyone? Any questions? Super. So one EC2 instance can have multiple security groups attached. Yes. One security group can be attached to multiple EC2 instance. Yes. So anything is possible. So if you have EC2 instance like this, 1, 2, 3. So every EC2 instance can have its own security group, and every EC2 instance can have one EC2 instance can have all. So however you want to do, you can do with it. That's why I said concentrate. Okay. So one EC2 can have many security groups attached. Okay. One security group can be attached to multiple EC2s. Okay. So I'll write, you can create multiple security groups, and you can attach multiple security groups to the EC2 instance. There will be a soft limit, but guys, will you attach so many security group on EC2 instance? Don't do, because you will get confused, right? Don't do that. Okay, one question for you. And by the way, I'll write the source. How many source types are there? 3 types, Macha. What are those? Custom, anywhere, my IP. Now tell me, in our course, which one we should be using it? My IP only, because you want to secure, no, by yourself. So you are practicing something. Will you enable for everyone? No, you'll go with only my IP. Chiti, one question for you. A brand new security groups. You created a new security group. Tell me, inbound rules are allowed or deny? By default, you created a new security group. Inbound rules are allowed or deny? Deny. Simple as that. Outbound rules? Super. A brand new security group. All inbound rules are deny, and outbound rules are allowed. Okay. One more question for you. If you allow any inbound rule, do you need to allow that an outbound rule? No need. Right. So if you are allowing an inbound rule HTTP, you need to allow HTTP in outbound rule? No, because everything is allowed. No, there. Very good. So if you allow any protocol in inbound rule, you no need to allow that on outbound rule. And by the way, guys, this is called stateful certification question. What is that called? Not required, Master Shravani. What is this called? Stateful. What is that called? Stateful. Very important certification question. What is stateful? If you allow any inbound rule, you no need to allow that on outbound rule. That is called stateful. Our security groups are stateful? Yes. Security groups are stateful. Certification question. And I'm writing here one more. If you allow any protocol in inbound rule, you must allow that on outbound rule also. This is called stateless. What is this called? But did we learn stateless till now? No. Which one are stateless? NACLs are stateless. I'll talk about what is that, NACL. But here, two important things. Security groups are stateful or stateless? Okay, you are getting confused. So I'll give you one hint. How do you remember? Security will be always full. I mean, they are all very energetic. Yes or no? Security groups, security people, how they are very powerful, no? They will be always full, energetic. So remember like that. Security full. So security groups are stateful or stateless? Remember this. And how about the NACLs are stateless? Security full, NACL less. So security groups are stateful, NACLs are stateless. Now you will not get confused. Is it clear, ma? Before I go to NACLs, is this clear? Super. Samjhe? Understood? Okay. So now, what is NACLs? NACL. Network access control lists. Network access control list. NACLs. Tell me guys, what is NACL? Network Access Control List. Network access control. Nice, no? In our childhood, we used to, if my friend asked, Mama, can you please explain me the definition? Are you don't know definition? This is apple. Mama, this is apple. You don't understood? This is, we used to repeat the same thing. Okay, so here network access control list, meaning as the name clearly say that this is used to control your network. This is used to control your network. And I would say NACLs is same like security group only. NACLs is same like a security group, but it is another layer on security group. EC2 instance you have. EC2 instance is secured by security group. On top of the security group, what we have? NACL. So if you want to touch a security group, whom you should touch first? So can we say it is another layer of security to the EC2 instance? Yes. So here I write, it is another layer of security to the EC2 instance. Slowly, aram se guys, don't get confused little bit here. Okay. So if you want to have a high security, will you go for NACL? Yes. If you want to tight the security, go for NACL. Okay. Chitti, like security groups, you also have inbound rules and outbound rules for NACLs. What is that? Like in security group, for NACL also you have inbound rules and outbound rules. Like security group, NACLs also has inbound rule and outbound rules. So let's see the differences. Okay. Which one will hit first? NACL will hit first and then security group. Okay, now let me go to little bit deeper on this topic. I want to everyone to concentrate. Very important topic. Concentrate. It's hard to repeat. Okay. Chitti, whatever we set up, whatever we create our infrastructure, whatever we launch EC2 instance, whatever we put RDS, whatever we put everything in AWS, everything should be inside the VPC. Yes or no? Everything should be inside the VPC only, right? Yes. So now consider this is the whole big VPC. This is the VPC. Okay. So whenever you are creating a VPC, or do we have a default VPC? Yes, AWS is giving a default VPC. We'll be utilizing the default VPC and we'll go and launch our EC2 instance until we are familiar with. When we go to VPC topic separately, there we create our own VPCs. Until that, we'll use default VPC. So default VPC, when you're creating, it will give some, you have to give some network range. Chitti, you are going and launching EC2 instance. Where are you going and launching the EC2 instance? In the VPC only, no? Your EC2 instance will get the IP address. Yes or no? IP address will be provided by AWS. How does AWS know what type of IP address, he has to provide? Correct? Does he provide 10 dot blah blah blah, 10 dot something? Or will he provide 192.168 something? Will he provide 172 dot something? AWS has to provide some IP address now. Based on what he will provide? Based on the network, based on the VPC that you have created. So VPC, when you create the VPC, you will give the network range here. Let's say 192.168.0.0.16. Don't worry about this. We have a separate class on that to talk about those network ranges. So you will give the range like this, guys. Okay. Or else AWS will give the range like this 172.31.0.0/16 like this. So you create a VPC with some range. See, now you have your own flat. Your flat is like only one room, like a showroom. No, no. Imagine your entire borders are your VPC. Your flat entire borders are VPC. You take this room. This entire border is VPC. Now everything is visible. So inside that, in our flat, what do? We create partitions like bedroom. We create one bedroom, another bedroom, one living room, one bathroom like this. You have partitions. So your partition will be inside the VPC only, inside your home only. Yes. So now here, girls this side, boys this side. So this is a partition, right? No, I mean half. So okay. So no, don't. It's a joke, man. So okay. So we have partition. So here in this, see here in this VPC, we create a partition. That partitions we call it as subnet. What is that partition called? Subnet. You understand? Subnet. What is that? Subnet. So you have the whole VPC. Inside the VPC, you will have your own private network. You have your own subnet. You have your own private space that is called subnet. Can we create multiple subnets in VPC? Super. So here I call it as subnet. I don't have space. No, that's the reason why I'll have two. I'll say two subnets. Subnet 1, subnet 2. Can I create multiple subnets? Yes. Subnet 2, subnet 3, subnet 4. Like this, I can create partitions like this. Okay. Now, where do you go and launch EC2 instance? Inside the subnets? Yes or no? Yes. We'll go and launch the EC2 instance inside the subnets. Very good. City. So we'll go and launch the EC2 instance in the subnet. Okay. So this subnet also have some network like 192.168.1.0. Like this here also 192.168, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0. Like this, for each subnet, there will be a network. Now tell me, we know that EC2 instances are, as per, don't worry about what is /16 and all. We'll take about in VPC section. Ali. And in our starting classes, in our AWS basics, we learn this. All your EC2 instances are launched in where? All your EC2 instances are launched in where? Where? Availability zones only. Yes or no? Your EC2 instances will be in the availability zone only, no? So that meaning each subnet is associated to one availability zone. What is that? Each subnet is associated to one hour. This is 1A, this is 1B. If I have subnet 3, I'll put it 1C. If I have subnet 4, would I put 1D? Do we have 1D? You put 1A or 1B or 1C. Now question here is, certification question is, do you all agree one subnet is associated to one availability zone? Agree? Tell me here. One subnet can be in multiple availability zones at the same time? One subnet can be in multiple availability zones at the same time? No. One subnet cannot be in multiple availability zones at the same time. Okay, now another one. Certification question. See. One availability zone can have multiple subnets? Yes. One availability zone can have multiple subnets? One subnet 1 is in which availability zone? 1A. Subnet 2 is in which availability zone? Subnet 3 is in which availability zone? Subnet 4 will be in which availability zone? 1A. That means one availability zone can have subnet 1 and 4. So that one availability zone can have multiple subnets? Certification question. One subnet, one availability zone can have multiple subnets. Clear? Getting it? Getting it? Hmm? People think this is a very difficult topic. You're getting it slowly, Aram se? Okay. This is just a trailer on VPC. We have separate class on VPC completely. Okay, now. So now, Chiti, now question here is, okay, I'll put subnet 3 here. If it, okay. Nice. Correct, exactly, Shravani. It's like house and rooms. That's why I took flat and then you have individual rooms. Okay, now, question for you. Think and answer. I have EC2 instances in subnet 1. I have so many EC2 instances in subnet 2. One bloody hacker started hacking your EC2 instance, which is in 1A. He is hacking on protocol SSH. Now tell me how to stop him. So someone is hacking my EC2 instance. So how do you stop him? Exactly what you said. What you said? Stop SSH protocol in where? In security group. Yes or no? Should we remove the SSH protocol? SSH rule in the security group? Okay. You have so many EC2 instances. Also you have so many multiple security groups will be there. By the time you go for all 10 security groups and remove SSH for all 10, by the time he'll take whatever he want. Yes or no? So you have so many security groups. If you want to remove SSH protocol in each and every security group, it will take a lot of time. Right? At this time only, NACLs will come. So NACLs is for the whole subnet. NACLs also has inbound rules. So, and you know the powerful thing here, in NACLs, you can deny. In security group, is it possible to deny? In NACL, specifically, you can deny. So instead of going in security group and removing the SSH rule, can I add a new rule in NACL? SSH deny. And this NACL is for the EC2 instance or for the entire subnet? Okay, understood? So here, so I go and SSH deny I'll do for the entire subnet using NACL. Thank you, Akshay. Okay, na? Understood? Now, certification question. Security group is EC2 instance level or subnet level? EC2 instance level. NACL is EC2 instance level or subnet level? Certification question. So security group is EC2 instance level, whereas NACL is subnet level. So, guys, generally, no one will talk about NACLs. See, I'm not saying me, many of the people, they don't talk about NACLs. They talk about security groups because by default, inbound rules are deny. We also have a default NACL. Guys, in security group, we have default security group. Similarly, NACLs also, we have a default NACL. See, no one is talking about NACL. That meaning inbound rules will be allowed or deny? Allowed. NACL's inbound rules are allowed. That is the reason why people don't talk about NACL at all. If bloody NACL inbound rules are getting denied, first they'll talk about NACL. Then only they talk about security group. As why people are not talking about NACL? Because inbound rules are allowed. Outbound rules are also allowed. Getting it? Pusuk, if you have created new NACL, you have created a new NACL. Tell me, inbound rules are allowed or deny? New NACL. It is for new NaCl, it is deny. Inbound default NaCl is okay, but you are creating a new one. When you are creating a new one, inbound rules are deny. Outbound is also deny. You're getting it. So now I'll give one example here to make you understand. Custom NaCl is deny. Very good, Madhav. So let's say we have EC2 instance, which is Linux wala. City, which is Linux. EC2 instance is secured by security group. So what I do in security group, I have allowed SSH. And on top of it, what I have? NaCl. In NaCl, what I did, I went and deny SSH. Now tell me, people can log into the EC2 instance? Yes or no? No. SSH will not work. Because which will hit first? NaCl will hit first. Now question. One subnet is associated to one NaCl. Agree? Huh? One subnet can be in multiple NaCls at the same time? No. No, right? One NaCl. You are with me. Can you with everyone instead of me? No. Like it is only for one, right? So one NaCl, one subnet should not be associated to multiple NaCls. Agree? You got this point or not? Huh? One subnet is associated to one NaCl. Okay. This one subnet can be in multiple NaCls at the same time. That's what I'm saying. So one subnet cannot be in multiple NaCls at the same time. One NaCl can have multiple subnets? Yes, one NaCl can have multiple subnets. Guys, you all understood clearly? Security group NaCls. In our childhood, we used to write the differences, no? Remember? Should I write the differences now? For your easy purpose. So this is security group and this is NaCl. Remember, we used to write this like this by putting like this, huh? Okay. Let's do. You only tell me. In security groups, we have inbound rules and outbound rules. Yes, inbound rules and outbound rules. In NaCls also you have inbound rules and outbound rules. Very good. Do we have a default security group here? Yes. Do we have a default NaCl here? Super. Okay. Which one will hit first? Yes, security group will hit after NaCl. Here, NaCl will hit first and then security group. By default, inbound rules are? Yes, by default. So by default, inbound rules are deny. Here, by default, inbound rules are ideas are allowed. So, can you deny on security group? Can you deny on security group? You cannot deny on security group. Can you deny on NaCls? You can deny on NaCl and allow also. Which one is instance level? Security group is instance level. NaCls are subnet level. If you create any inbound rules, if you create any new security group, inbound rules are deny. Here also, if you create any new NACL, all inbound rules are deny. So if you create any new security group, inbound rules are deny. Outbound rules are allowed. And here, if you create any new NACL, inbound and outbound rules are denied. Super. City. Security groups are stateful or stateless? Now do you confuse? No. NACLs are? If you allow any inbound rules, do you need to allow that on outbound rules? If you allow any inbound rules, you no need to allow on outbound rule. But here, if you allow any inbound rule, you must allow on outbound rule also. That is called stateless. Clear now differences? Security group and NACLs clearly. Super. Any questions? This is a little bit difficult topic, but I hope I made it smooth as butter. Take the screenshots. And so tomorrow, guys, let's take a break. Okay. So we have been on this technical things since so many days, right? Let's take a break for tomorrow. We'll connect on Monday. Monday we have an EC2 still topics are there. So next week we'll talk it, and then I think next week itself we'll start the practicals on EC2. But we still have topics left. So guys, how is this? This is super useful or not? Nowhere you will get this. Go to any tube or any demi, you will not get this. These are all like coming out of here based on my experiences. Do we have a class tomorrow? And the next slide. Okay. Super. Can you give me the final CC for today, guys? I see. Okay. Nice. Great. So that is all, guys, for today. And I'll see you on Monday with the next topic. Until then, take care. Bye-bye. Have a nice day and good night. Happy weekend.